Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how I make clay garden labels. I'm starting out with my block of air dry clay. I'm cutting a slab and I'm rolling it out. Make sure it's not too thin but not too thick. Something like this. Next, I'm going to be using one of my previous labels I've made, but you can cut out your own shape on a piece of paper. Next, I'm going to use my needle tool to cut everything out. And put the excess aside for another project later. I'm using my sponge to smooth everything out with water. I'm making 4 labels: tomato, carrot, lettuce, and spinach, but you can make as many as you want and as many different kinds. You can even mess with the shape and make it your own. I'm going to be using, in this case, a piece of fabric with some cooking spray for my labels, so it doesn't leave any, so the marks come off clearly. I'm using simple letter stamps. You can also use a little piece of sponge with some cooking spray, but I didn't have any. And then I'm also using my sponge to go over it and clean everything out. Here I'm using my hot air gun to speed in the process, but you can just let it dry for 24 hours and the next day it should be ready. So I'm getting into the painting here. I'm using my 4 colors, the light green, dark green, red, and orange, each representing their own vegetable. For this specific clay, it took a few coats. By the way, I'm just using some acrylic paint. My light green was a little thicker and it went on. It was only 1 or 2 coats, but for the rest I did at least 3 coats. I'm just making sure to get into all the creases and the little holes so my paint looks nice and even. Sorry for the shaking in this clip, I just had to speed it up. The process, the whole label process took me at least an hour, and this painting, the painting and filling in the letters took a while. I'm also making some little drawings with my paintbrush of some lettuce. Just to add some extra detail. And this is how the lettuce turned out. Next I'm doing tomato and doing a second coat on tomato, as well as the carrot. I decided to use my hot air gun to dry it up before doing the next coat. You can also use a hair dryer for this, and if you don't have any hot air gun. I use this one for pottery and drying things before removing them from the wheel, but I found it useful to quicken up the process. I am also mixing a darker shade of red to make the little tomatoes. I'm also moving on with the carrot, doing the second coat. I'm also mixing a darker shade of orange for this. I'm using the same 4 colors and just mixing them to make different variations of the shade, making them darker. I'm also using some green to make the little leaves on both my carrots and my tomatoes. I'm doing the letters here on carrot. I'm using dark red as well as for the tomato. And next I'm moving on with finishing spinach. This is a very fun and simple project. I hope you all liked it. If you did, please like and subscribe and share it with some friends. Also follow me on social media so you don't miss anything I post. So for the spinach, I had to mix an even darker shade of green. And I'm making little leaf shapes for the spinach. I used orange to outline this garden label because the dark green wouldn't pop up. And this is the final result. I hope you like it. Bye!